Two things. There was a big move yesterday. The L.A. Rams acquired Brandin Cooks, the wide receiver from New England. So who won the trade? Everybody cares about who won the trade. Let me just say this about the move by the Patriots and the Rams. The Rams have obviously been on Rodeo Drive here for about 4 weeks. They got on a shopping spree. And they got Ndamukong Suh. And they got Marcus Peters. And they got Sam Shields. And they got Aqib Talib. And now they got Brandin Cooks. When you go on a shopping spree, this is the way it works. Make this personal. Name the last time, take out Christmas, where you go for specific gifts. When you go on a shopping spree, here's the way it always works. A year later, some of the stuff's broken, some of the stuff you didn't use, some of the stuff's become very valuable. I guarantee you that Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, Sam Shields, Ndamukong Suh, and Brandin Cooks are not going to be home runs. One of them may, two maybe, but like any shopping spree, when you go out and you spend a lot of money on stuff, you never come back a year later and go, that coat was the best coat I've ever had. Those ski boots were the best ski boots. That ring is the greatest ring. Generally, when you go on shopping sprees a year later, you're a little disappointed. If you look at the history of free agents, they don't all hit. Brandin Cooks is now on his third team on his rookie contract. Why? My guess is he's a little bit of a poor fit for Breeze and Brady, who wanted more, and he's kind of a one-trick pony. He's a deep threat. That's what my guess is. I liked what New England did here. New England now has 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, and they were going to have to pay this kid. And I don't think he was a great fit for Brady. Now, the Rams are saying, listen, we got Robert Woods, we got Cooper Kupp, we like our tight ends, we have Todd Gurley. We're good 15 yards and in. We could use a vertical player. But they're going to have to pay him a lot of money once that rookie contract is over. My gut feeling on this is the Rams have gone on a huge shopping spree, and some of these guys are going to work, and some are not going to work. My guess is Marcus Peters is really, really, really good. And he's going to be the one guy I feel that's going to step on the field, and they're going to be better at corner. I really like it. Ndamukong Suh's always, to some degree, played for himself. And I think Brandin Cooks on his third team, on his rookie deal, there's got to be an issue there. Belichick, Brady, Sean Payton, Breeze have all let him go in the last year. Probably because he doesn't have sort of the layered skill set of what they're looking for. But I kind of like what New England got out of it. And I think the Rams have gone on a Rodeo Drive shopping spree. And like all shopping sprees, some of it a year later just wasn't worth the money. Let's shift into what the Rams are doing. So they're going on a shopping spree. And you know how it works. Some of these guys are going to hit and some are not going to hit. You can make a really, really good argument that the LA Rams now are not taking into consideration some real chemistry potential landmines here. Ndamukong Suh, there is tape. He's kind of doing his own thing. There are multiple reports. He doesn't like practice much, though he does come in shape and ready to play. Marcus Peters got kicked off his college team. Marcus Peters, you've interviewed him. I mean, it's well documented. What do you make of what they're doing, Coach?
Well, first of all, just going back to the Browns do have some culpability in the sense that when you go through that draft process, you need to find out who the person is, and you can get pretty close to those issues. And I always used to talk about to the staff and to the scouts, if we take a guy who's slow or has a character issue, we can't be mad if he comes here and he's slow or has a character issue. Where I'm going to be mad is if I don't know that he has those things and we make that decision. So there is an element of that with Cleveland. Now, transitioning to the Rams, I wish this was the year they were on Hard Knocks, because it's going to be really interesting to see how that chemistry comes together. I know they had success their first year. My first year, we went 10-6. We went to the playoffs. And the second year, you're thinking, okay, how can you make that jump? But when you insert a bunch of personalities that are strong personalities that are difficult to deal with.
By the way, Marcus Peters, Andy Reid gave up on him.
Andy Reid has dealt with strong personalities and done a really great job
for 20
a long
years.
Time. You're talking about a player. When I evaluated Marcus Peters, he was the closest thing to me to Darrelle Revis of anybody.
You were with the Niners.
I was with the Niners.
And you're a DB. By the way, your background is O-line and DB, and you liked him.
I liked him. I thought he was incredibly talented, but from a personality fit, wasn't sure how that was going to go. And to move on from a young, talented corner, and especially with a guy like Andy who's dealt with strong personalities, there are some serious red flags there. Now, when you insert a bunch of personalities like this, and you have a young head coach, and you're in LA, and you're coming off a successful season, navigating through that's not going to be easy. I remember when Marty Schottenheimer talked to me about coming off, I think he was 14-2, and he brought in a couple questionable guys, and he said to me, we were in my office in New York, he said, look, that was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career. I thought we were close. I thought that the locker room was strong enough to handle a couple of those personalities, and everything imploded. And that's a veteran coach with tons of success. Now he got this mix. It's got boom or bust written all over it.
Yeah. All right, Patriots, Brandin Cooks. I like what New England got. You do too. Why?
Well, New England rented Brandin Cooks for a season. They trade away the 32nd pick, the first, last pick in the round, might as well be a second-round pick. They pick up the 23rd pick this year, 23rd in this year's first round. So they move up 9 spots. They paid $1.5 million for Brandin Cooks. The Rams are paying $8.5 million this year. New England had worked with the representatives to see if they could get a long-term deal done. They couldn't get it done. So next year, the Rams are looking at either franchising Cooks, which is going to be extremely expensive, or committing to him long-term, which, arguably is as expensive or more expensive. And there's no guarantee that Cooks wants to do that. And there's no guarantee that there's going to be a fit. And last year, they traded a second for Sammy Watkins, and they get nothing. And now New England has a first-round pick that they could have youth for the next 5 years. To me, this is a no-brainer in favor of New England.
By the way, Jim Mora has been critical of Josh Rosen, and Doug Gottlieb said yesterday he used code words like millennial, which, again, if you're 22, you like being called a millennial. A GM may hear the word, hey, this kid's a millennial, and think, oh, so he doesn't want to listen. He's constantly asking. What do you make of Mora's we got 2 minutes left. Mora's comments on Rosen.
I was really surprised when Jim said that, and I'd be concerned if I was making this decision, because nobody knows Josh better than Jim does. He recruited him. He spent time with him. He developed him. He played a ton of games with him, and I really like Jim Mora a lot. The knocks on Josh Rosen, I think, are unfair to some degree when you say a guy's too smart.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
He's a quarterback. You don't want him to be smart, or the guy questions things. Okay.
So did Peyton Manning.
And you're a coach. It's your responsibility to be able to tell the player why we're doing something. How is that disrespectful to tell your quarterback?
That was Kristine's argument yesterday.
Kristine, you're exactly right.
Why?
You should, as a teacher or coach or person of authority, be able to tell someone, hey, this is why it's important. And there should be a rationale
I've told
behind
Kristine.
It's not an insult.
I've told
curiosity.
Kristine, as long as she doesn't ask me the question, I'm all for her asking why constantly.
You wouldn't have a problem if someone asked you why.
Yes, he would. If I ever asked Colin why, he would just turn around and walk away.
I'm going to ask her why she's always so tough on LeBron, but that's a different hour of the show. Eric Mangini, great stuff.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.